Hey there, it's Melissa Brunetti, and welcome to the Mind Your Own Karma podcast. Hey there, Karma Crew. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Mind Your Own Karma, the Adoption Chronicles. Today I have an adoptee story for you. Rodger Tellefson was born in Sacramento, California at the Sutter Memorial Hospital and was adopted at 3 days old. He and his brother, who was also adopted, weren't told until they were adolescent age. Rodger recalls his adopted parents telling the two brothers while their parents stood across the living room with their backs turned to them. It wasn't until 1982 when an older maternal sister, who was also an adoptee, found him and his life changed forever. At the time Rodger was found, he was working, had just moved to a new residence, and had a young family, making it a challenge to reunite and make a connection with his biologicals. He later found that having different lifestyles and economic backgrounds was a factor as well in his reunion with some of his siblings. Rodger has a 2-year degree from a junior college and worked for the Army Corps of Engineers in Sacramento, where he retired in 2004. He was married for almost 40 years to his late wife, who passed in September of 2011. He has a daughter, 46, and a son, 44 years old. Here is my interview with Rodger Tellefson. So we are welcoming adoptee Rodger to the show today. Welcome, Rodger.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. I'm so glad that you want to tell your story. Like I was saying earlier, someone out there is waiting to hear it. So thanks for educating the world today.
You're welcome.
So I just want to jump right in and ask you what you know about why you were put up for adoption. Do you know anything?
No, I actually don't. I was, I do know that I was brought home from the hospital at 3 days old. I was told, I haven't confirmed it, that my biological mother was by my adoptive parents, paid for her doctor bills and, all the stuff go around that while she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. I do know that she was married at the time, and she left her husband to come to Sacramento. I'm guessing right now that, I do know that her mother was living here at the time, I believe, and probably rejected her. I do know that her mother was married 3 or 4 times and, was buried here in Sacramento. So anyway, it's my birth mother had issues. She was raped by her biological father, so I was told. And so she never got help for it, never sought psychiatric therapy or anything for it. And so anyway, yeah.
So do you know why your adoptive parents decided to adopt?
No, I never did ask. I do know that when I was found, they had to ask. What I'm guessing is their lack of self-esteem and confidence in themselves. If I was going to leave them, and I'm going, okay, why would you be asking that? You raised me. Why would I leave?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I really don't know. I do know that my adopted dad was working for a local grocery chain store. And well, I guess you'll edit out what you need to edit out, but you're owned by Cass's brothers here in Sacramento. One of the brothers was a doctor. So my putting 2 and 2 together, so to speak, is, he might have been talking to somebody and they found out that they were looking for a child. So,
Okay.
that's my guess.
Yeah. So how did you find out you were adopted?
I was told, my adopted brother and I were, that we were both adopted. Um, we were sitting on a sofa in the living room of the home, and they stood across the room with their backs to us and told us we were adopted. More trauma.
So how did that even come up? How did that
I don't
you
know.
remember?
I don't know. I remember they stood across the room and told us that we were adopted. I don't know how it came up or what the reason for the timing. I was maybe, best I can recall, 8 or 9 years old.
Were you older than your brother?
3 years older.
3 years older. Wow, so he was small. And so after you were told, what'd you think?
That's a good question. I really didn't know. I can't speak to that because it was like just, information. It's just like, I didn't know what to think, actually, at that time, at that age.
Yeah.
Being 75 now, that's a long ways back.
So you don't remember like feeling traumatized or like crying or?
No, I didn't cry. Maybe I was traumatized, but I guess that would be part of it because it was more of a, can I say? Yeah, just, I would say traumatized, but not aware of being traumatized.
Yeah. I know you were only like 8 or 9 when they told you, but growing up before that, did you ever feel like a different feeling, like something was
Oh,
up?
yeah. Yeah.
What did you notice?
I just noticed like I didn't fit in. I noticed that I don't know how old I was, but I was younger than that. Out in the front yard, my dad was talking with some guys that were helping him, and I went and grabbed one of their legs. And I'm going, I don't recall why I did that. It's just something I felt like doing. So it's like, thought that was interesting. So I don't know. It's like, yeah.
And your brother was adopted as well. So how
Yeah.
was your relationship with him growing up?
We were as different as night and day. He was very bright, intelligent, and I'm still trying to find out what happened to me at birth. I need to know how to find my birth records. I guess apply to the state of California, whatever I have to do to find my, actually what happened, because I was really struggled through school, didn't get adopted. I mean, get drafted in the Army in the late 60s because I couldn't do military style push-ups. Still can't. And so, like I said, there was just something there that, my birth parents were, and actually my adopted parents and birth mother were both told that I had cerebral palsy at birth. And I go, I come to realize that wasn't true. But whatever happened was left me with something. I don't know.
Yeah. I know a lot of times, even in my case, I had some medical issues, but they did not tell my adoptive parents I had medical issues. And my adoptive mom thinks it's because they think that you're probably inadoptable if they disclose that you have a medical issue. So interesting that they even said anything
to your adoptive parents that possibly there was something going on. Did you notice like some physical disabilities when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, competing or doing anything in sports or athletics, I couldn't do. What, back in the 50s when they had like in the playgrounds, they would have these overhead ladder things. I couldn't do them.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. And you haven't been like a doctor hasn't diagnosed you with anything they can't tell.
I haven't had figured out what that is.
Yeah.
I could ask a doctor, but I've never been motivated to do so.
Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah. So, how was your adoptive family growing up? What was it like?
It was, I'd say it was okay. Middle class. We ran the neighborhood with other kids in the neighborhood. Had a time to come in for dinner. And it was, I thought it was good enough. My dad put a swimming pool in the backyard that he got. Don't ask me where he got the harebrained idea to put a water tank, sink it in the ground, and put I think it was about 4 inches of concrete in the bottom. It lasted for many years until, because we lived really close to the Sacramento River, maybe about 2 city blocks or less, maybe a block and a half. And the river rose one year and the bottom popped up in the pool, and that was the end of that. And it got
the swimming pool.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So did you feel a connection with them?
Not really.
No,
not at all.
Wow. Okay. Not even your adoptive mom.
Nope. There was no hugging, nurturing, loving connection. There wasn't at all.
Ever, even when you got older and an adult? Never.
Not really.
Wow.
And I've been thinking about it, and I don't know if it's true or not, but when I was found in 82, I think shortly thereafter is when my my adopted mom got Alzheimer's. I don't know whether that triggered it. In my being found, I have no idea. But that's I'll never know. But it's just, yeah.
So who found you?
An older maternal sister who was looking for health reasons for her son. I think it's something like pneumonia or something like that. And that went well for several years until they moved from the halfway between Salinas and Monterey area, near Laguna racetrack. I think it's called something else now, but very nice home. She married a guy who was well off. And then they moved in the early 90s to New Mexico. And so it was, we just had not a close relationship. I mean, we spent a couple of Christmases with them while they were close, but it was more of, non-disclosure. I mean, I asked her to come visit me, but she never did really disclose until I forget exactly when, that she couldn't drive because she had epilepsy.
Oh, wow.
when
Okay.
she was younger, and then she said, "Oh, I grew out of it." I go, "Oh, there's your adoptee trauma right there." So, yeah, but I don't know if she's even aware of that.
How
So,
did she find you in 1982? There wasn't DNA tests or anything.
no, she
Yeah.
did a
So,
lot of research at the library. She's a stay-at-home wife, mother, whatever. And so yeah. And when she found me, yeah, a lot of research, libraries and stuff. Yeah.
so you said it
Nothing.
went well for a long time. And so is it not
Yeah.
well now? Yeah.
Um, don't really have a relationship with her, but due to circumstances, um, I don't know if I really want to go into it right now, at least on on air,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
But um, both my maternal sisters have. I don't have a good relationship with them. The one that they both, when my late wife passed in end of September '82, decided, don't ever call me again. And so I called the one that found me. I'll just say her name is Mary, and I won't give any more information than that. It's not necessary.
Right.
I got a strong feeling that I needed to call her. And when I did, I found out her husband of 50 years just passed.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I have that ability to sense energy.
Yeah.
Have that connection. And so, whether it's trauma that caused that, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. A lot of adoptees have
And then
that intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And empath too. So yeah, I just had to let's say for political reasons, I no longer have a relationship with her.
Yeah. Any other siblings that you know about?
No, I don't. I say there's 3 paternal half sisters. I've met 2 of them in the early '80s. I met one after doing a DNA test and that confirmed that who my paternal father is, and I haven't met the other 2 since then.
Okay. So let's talk about the biological parents then. How did that go? Did you meet them?
It went pretty well. My biological mother went better. But for me, I was not aware of and I could say it is a fact that reunions bring up anger issues. And I was not aware of that at the time.
Among a lot of other issues.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Right. But that was mostly it. I tried to have a connection with her, but I was in a spiritual community at the time, and still am. And she had transitioned from being Catholic to Jehovah's Witness. And that was a challenge for me to even, it just went, didn't compute for me. But even at that, it felt good to be around her, have that connection. But at the same time, interestingly enough, she was I think you know where this is, Latrobe, south of Stockton. That's where she was living. And she had come up to live with her daughter that she raised, my half sister. And then 9 months later, she moved back to Las Vegas. So, distance and everything was just a challenge to with my working and raising family and all that, it was just hard, a challenge. And I tried to get close to her, understanding, but with my half sister that was raised by her, and it was just awkward, very awkward, still is. So
you did feel that initial connection with your birth mother, though.
Yeah. And the birth father the father was not aware of me at all.
Oh, wow.
But she remembered his name, and so I gave him a call, found out, and he lived up in near Susanville, California, and so I met him in Reno, and it was very strange. Although I don't know if I send you a picture, but I've got a picture of him, and I should probably send it to you if you want to include it in the whatever online. I look just like him.
Oh, wow.
How was
that?
Huh?
How was that, seeing
very
that?
Very strange. Yeah.
So he didn't question that you were his child or anything when you contacted him?
I don't know if he never really questioned it. It was like, as best I can remember, it was he just accepted me. He was very good with my grandkids. I was told later he's very good with children, but not so good with wives and women. He was a player. So yeah, it was like, it was okay. But again, living a couple hours, 3 hours or whatever it is away to drive up there, again, having my own young family. My daughter was 6 and my son was 3 at the time, and my working, it was just like, how do I get away? And to go up there every weekend or whatever.
Yeah. So
my late wife worked as well.
Yeah. Do you know if you have any siblings from your dad?
Yeah, I think I mentioned I have 3. Those are the only ones that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So, because I have done DNA tests and nothing else has shown up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We kind of wonder that about my dad too. Every time I get an ancestry hit in my email, I'm like, uh-oh, are we gonna find another one? And my sister always says that too. If I bring up ancestry, she's like, oh my gosh, is there another one of us out there? I haven't found anybody yet, just us.
Yeah. Well, I was told that my biological or birth mother, however you want to pronounce it, call it, is had a sister, and I was told that she had some mental issues, and I wasn't told that she was married or had kids or anything. Well, a few years ago, I discovered through, I guess, synchronicity or serendipity, whatever, how Ancestry gives hints or whatever, or somebody posted on Ancestry about, and there was a connection there. And so now I've got a maternal first cousin in Texas that I would love to go meet. So, yeah. And one, actually, I think there's one in Oregon.
So did you make contact with them?
Yeah, I communicate with the one in Texas quite regularly. Yeah.
I don't have any first cousins. I have a lot of second and third cousins on Ancestry, but I haven't got any aunts, uncles, nothing comes up.
Have you done?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Have you done 23andMe?
I have not.
Yeah. I found a maternal great niece on 23andMe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. I probably should.
Lives up in Redding. They're not on Ancestry. And so, yeah, it's quite interesting to note that some people do one and the other. I like both, through putting my both biological mother, father in to Family Search, which is free. And it's a Mormon database, which is quite extensive. But I found I think it's about a 10 times great grandfather who either founded or co-founded the town of Hartford, Connecticut, and fought in the Revolutionary War, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. So it's a free Family Search. Is just, you could just go on there and you just plug in a name, and how does that work?
More info. You can do more things if you're Mormon, but that's okay.
So how was it with your biological parents after you met them?
Well, they weren't, they were, I don't know how that, I never asked how they separated, divorced, whatever. But my biological mother wanted to move halfway between Montana, where my sister that she raised moved to Montana. Actually, from Las Vegas to Montana anyway. And even at that, it was hard to get away. You didn't realize that I just can't get away that much. I was involved in stuff here in Sacramento and like I said, having kids. So went up there when we could, maybe once a year. But she would write me every year on my birthday. So yeah, I still have those letters, because she passed in automobile accident in 96 up in Montana.
Okay.
And was in her 70s at the time.
Oh, wow.
And I just turned 75, so I'm going, okay.
Yeah, that's tough. So how do you, looking back, did you see adoption shaping you? How did you see that as a child, and then as a teenager, and then as an adult? So did you see it shaping you in any way?
Good question. I'll have to think about that one.
Did you mentioned something about anger issues?
Yeah, but I was anger at my birth mother. Okay.
And your birth mother.
Yeah. But the anger at my adopted parents, not really. How did it shape me? I'd say it shaped me by, and I discovered this fairly recently, and I was just listening to, I'm going to listen to the full thing. Another adoptee posted on Facebook a YouTube thing on biological mirroring. And I didn't have that. So it did not shape me, I'll say, in that respect.
Yeah.
So not having that, I wasn't aware of that until I found the adoptee community on Instagram. And I started searching Facebook, and I go, oh, there's a huge community. It's been around there for 20 years. And I'm going, really?
Yeah. I know. It's crazy. So do you consider yourself ever being in the fog? Do you use that term at all?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, or my brain, whatever, about that. I've been reading about it, if you have a good explanation, but I think coming out of the fog was when, and I don't mean this in a bad way, it was, well, I guess I had both pluses and minuses. When my late wife passed, I had never lived on my own, which I come to realize that I needed to live on my own. So before getting married, and that would have changed a lot of things, but it is what it is, and the past is the past. But living them on my own, as well as being in a therapy group, I was diagnosed with PTSD, and then suggested that I take L-tyrosine. And after being on that for about, and I'm still on it, but for about 3.5 years, from about 2013 to fall of about end of September of 15, something switched in my brain and woke me up. And it gave me a different awareness. So coming out of the fog, yes, but it was also with the help of this L-tyrosine stuff. And I looked it up and I go, that's what it does. It really has an impact on the brain. So yeah, check that out if you want to. It's quite an interesting it's just something our body produces, and it helps with our thinking and awareness, whatever. So it was a good thing. So
what did that open up for you? What were you more aware of?
I'm just aware of the world around me. Everything just, like I said, literally came out of a fog. I literally woke up. My brain woke up. Energetically, I'd say would be the proper term. I just woke up energetically.
Yeah.
And to things I knew that I could, before that, I knew that when I was getting an email or a phone call, I knew that before that time, I could sense that I was going to, just have that connection. But having a larger connection with the universe or something, I don't know what it was, but something switched. And I know from other things that during that time, a shift in the Earth's energies also was happening. So yeah,
well, that had to feel pretty freeing, I would think.
It was a freeing feeling. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's talk about what's helped you personally in dealing with adoption, or anything that's come up with about that. What's helped you?
I'd say, I find it interesting that question, what has helped me? Before I was found, I was reading Psychology Today. And then after I was found, I go, oh, I didn't need to, I wasn't, really going down that path anymore. Excuse me. So what has helped me? A lot of the people online, from Instagram to a lot of the other adoptees, what they've said or saying, have a lot more studying awareness. I don't know if I can mention names, but of certain people, but yes or no answer would be.
It depends if you think that if they're out there, if it's one of like the leaders of a group or something like that, or just mention a first name.
Kind of Mary Constance. Yeah. Very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And others I've connected with. It makes me sad and angry at the same time. Lady up, and you probably watched that Awakening World thing that I did. The lady up in Oregon, who was an illegal adoption.
Yeah.
Just like, anyway.
It's amazing. The stories are amazing.
Yeah.
Some of them, you just shake your head.
Yeah. She is the sweetest, kindest lady.
Yeah.
Helps others. Yeah. Anyway, but back to the question again, if you repeat it, it was
what has helped you personally?
What has helped me personally? Around adoption is.
How about your spiritual practice? Is that
my spiritual practice of, I'll just say it's a unity church, and but what has helped me most is finding my current wife. She's done her work. Say this much, my first wife, or late wife, what do you want to call her? I don't know why they say it's late, but for what, I don't know. She didn't want to do therapy, go to couples therapy or anything. So she thought prayer was the answer. Not always. So yeah, we both have we're in unity, and now we've gone to I will call deeper, higher, a different path, let's say, but still very spiritual. And but that's helped a lot, having somebody who's caring, loving, and done their own work. And that has been the biggest help for me as far as that. As far as what's been the biggest help in adoption, that and doing my own work with adoption stuff, and finding out the history of adoption and all that. It's like been a real eye opener, so to speak, as how I've really come to my understanding or belief now is, or let's say, I don't know what you call it. I'm not for adoption anymore. I am for a woman's choice, though. I mean, if a woman wants an abortion, that's up to her. Somebody shouldn't have to have a legislate her over a woman's body if they want to have that or not, whatever. But I'm not for adoption, legal guardianship, or family support of the mother, or family adoption within the family. So so I haven't spoken out about it too much, because of I have a wide range of friends on Facebook and other places. So I've been keeping a little bit of a low profile, not to speak out. I'm just starting a little bit about it, but I think my first real step in speaking up and speaking out was asking Scott Thomas to put together a group on for adoptees awareness and trauma on the Awakening World show on August 2nd. That was my first step, and this is the second. So
How was that?
It went well. It was very, very much very well received, and there was a lady on there, first name of Eleanor, actually a couple names, but anyway, one that dances a lot. Found out she was a adoptive mother. Her boys are now in their 50s.
Oh wow!
And finding out, found this out year and a half ago, sometime the past couple of years. So I found out that what's his name, Steve. I know he lives in Denver, Colorado area. who runs the not the Shift Network. Anyway, but there's another guy. I was really surprised that he has adoptive boys, and he Steve Farrell, that's his name. Mm-hmm. And he I don't know if you know who he is or not, but he I'll send you the link, whatever, later. But he's very much in the spiritual community, but he went to school with our current governor. I'm going, okay. But anyway, so yeah, both of his boys have mental issue, trauma issues. And I don't think I really mentioned to him at the time, because it was like, oh, you need to read this book. I had Scott Thomas pass the word on to him to do that. So.
And what book were you talking about?
Oh yeah, The Primal Wound.
Oh, The Primal Wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that should be essential reading for any one that's thinking about adopting.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely needs to be some education there.
Yeah,
that's not there.
Yeah, one of my my closest guy friends was and his wife were here, I don't know, a few months ago, and they were, maybe it was, I forget when. Anyway, because she's a therapist, and I showed her that book and she loved it. So, help her with some of the kids, teenage kids she's dealing with. And so yeah, kind of an eye opener for her. She had to go buy the book even, I think, later.
What do you think about a lot of adoptees really don't like that book because it was written by an adoptive parent, so they reject the book?
I think wasn't she also a therapist herself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that could be part of it, but I'd have to ask on an individual basis why they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, it's more of maybe it hits a chord with them that says that they didn't recognize this wounding in the first place. And it's even challenging for me to deal with this. Well, this primal wound that affects our DNA, both mother and, so glad to say I'm happy the book was written, but I don't think it's a book for that an adoptee can read all the way through. I think it's written more from a therapist's point of view.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you're at, in your journey too. The first time I read it, I wasn't ready to read it, and I rejected everything that was said in the book, but I wasn't at a space to look at it objectively at that time. But yeah. So in closing, what would you like struggling adoptees to know?
Struggling. Find a good therapist. I was just listening to a podcast that talked about look it up here. I sent it to a couple of friends. It's on MDMA for therapists. I don't know if you know what it is.
EMDA.
No, MD.
Say that again. You cut out for a second.
Yeah, it's there it is. MDAA for MDMA assisted therapy how ecstasy can heal your life and create more love. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
interesting. The psychedelic, that's a whole nother healing modality that a lot of adoptees are exploring.
But it's not a hallucinogen. It talks about the difference too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of adoptees are.
I'm going to be looking into that myself too.
Yeah. And anything else you can think of for struggling adoptees?
For struggling, I think I'll say this. I've just moved to say this. The universe loves every one of us, and we are all one in this world. And whatever you're going through, just have faith.
Yeah.
Have faith. Learn to love yourself. That's really a big thing. Learn to love yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm working on that.
Yeah. I've been working on it for 15 years. I'm doing pretty good, but it is a process. And every time you think that you've reached the end, then there's another layer of that onion that comes off.
Right.
It's a process. It's a journey, not a destination, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially when you're adopted, I think.
Yeah, it's still this I'll just end with this. There's still this, I won't call it nagging, but there's still this feeling there's something missing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
That I haven't been able to. I would love to have a biological connection, but I don't know if that's going to ever happen. But as I say, I'm just going to learn to live with it and love myself.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing your story today. I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate to something that you said, and it'll help them. So thanks for coming on today, Rodger.
You're welcome.
Thanks again, Rodger, for coming on the show and telling your story. Some days it feels like we're all still peeling that onion, doesn't it? Just when you think you've arrived, there's another layer that needs to come off. But that's just life in general, isn't it? If we don't keep peeling, we don't grow. But like Rodger said, if you learn to love yourself, that is half the battle right there. And if you're able to do that, home is wherever you hang your hat. Because home is wherever you are. And it doesn't matter if biology is in the room or not. You are enough. And if you are someone who feels that you have lost your way, or even lost yourself, or if you just need some help and you're not even sure why, please contact me. My email is mindyourownkarma@gmail.com. I am also on Facebook and Instagram. I have a website, mindyourownkarma.com, if you want to know more about me and the podcast. If you have been thinking about telling your story on the podcast, please get in touch with me. I will send you some information and we will schedule an interview. Someone out there is waiting to hear your story. As always, take what you need and leave what you don't. And always remember to mind your own karma. I'll see you next time.